A historic day in our state. Recreational marijuana is now legal in Ohio, but the state's policies concerning that drug are not clear. The Senate passed its version of rules last night, which includes speeding up the timetable for when people can buy recreational marijuana. Governor DeWine is urging the House now to support it. Let's get to Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trout. Morgan, you've been following all aspects of this story for months. So where do we go from here?
Katie, we're currently at a standstill. Yes, the governor's pleas yesterday were strong, but the House says that it's not going to be pressured to go against the will of the people.
As of today, Ohioans 21 and older can now smoke marijuana recreationally. Here are the basics of the new Ohio law. Along with using marijuana, you can possess 2.5 ounces and grow 6 plants, or 12 per household. And just like cigarettes, you can't smoke weed in public indoor places. There's also a 10% tax at the point of sale. But it may not always be this way.
We think it's a pretty reasonable provision.
The Senate passed a different proposal to change the law Wednesday evening. This version is more restrictive than current law. It reduces home grow to 6 plants, decreases THC levels, and raises taxes. But there was bipartisan support to combat accessibility issues.
We felt it was important to allow for immediate use because that's a protection against the black market.
This version would allow medical dispensaries to immediately be able to sell recreationally. And Governor Mike DeWine is on board with all of the Senate's bill. He is urging the House to pass it.
While it will be legal for Ohio citizens to possess marijuana, there will be no place for them to legally buy it.
But the House isn't interested. Republican State Rep Jamie Callender says the Senate restrictions on home grow and THC go against the will of the people.
Limiting that is really in the face of a lot of the voters that voted for this.
Callender has his own bill, one that is very similar to current law. It only adds some safeguards for advertising and children, and it will also include immediate dispensary access. Callender says the pressure from the governor isn't impacting him or House leadership.
And if we get it next week, that's great. If we get it by Christmas, that's great. And if it's January, that's okay too. It will be when it will be, but we want to do it right.
The Senate told me that they'll consider the House bill if it gets over to them next week. But for now, the law remains what the voters chose. Live in Columbus, Morgan Trout, News 5.